What is life without great adventures to make memories to look back at and smile? There's an unspoken bond you create with the friends you travel with, the moments you share, both good and bad, and the stories you tell. This is one of those stories. The morning had finally come for us to pack our bags and set off on the 48-kilometre cliff-hugging hike through the wilderness of Tasmania's southeast coastline. We had to carefully make sure we packed enough food and essentials to see us through the next 4 days. The start of the Three Capes hike is only accessible by boat that departs from the World Heritage listed Port Arthur site. Hiking numbers are strictly monitored. We had to check in and get our track passes before we could board the boat and head to Denman's Cove. We were treated to a quick tour of some of the islands to check out the Dolomite formations before being dropped off at the beginning point of our hike. It was great to see some of the local wildlife and get a glimpse of some of the incredible nature, landscapes, and cliffs that we were about to explore. Unfortunately, due to shifting sandbanks and tides, the beginning of our walk started off with quite the cold shock as we were required to cross through ice-cold water to the beach so that we could begin our hike. Day one is a fairly quick and easy walk to get to surveyors' cabins. To say we were blown away by the quality of these cabins would be an understatement. What Parks Tasmania has created for hikers of the trail is nothing short of an eco-lover's dream. Day two started slow for our group. Being only an 11-kilometre hike meant that we could choose to either set off early or wake up slow and take our time. This leg of the hike was full of beautiful contrast and nature. One moment you're walking along a breezy coastal edge and the next minute you're cooling down in the shade of the thriving Australian bush. We had a short climb to Arthur's Peak, followed by plenty of sparkling views of Crescent Bay on our way to our first cape, Cape Royale. When we arrived at Camp Munro, we were just as impressed with the beauty of these cabins as we had been with the ones at Surveyor Camp the night before. We were treated to a much appreciated Aussie bush shower, and we all enjoyed some stretching and relaxing before calling it a night early in preparation for our sunrise summit at the Blade. Day 3 started early and it started dark, but wow, was it worth sunrise at the Blade. After watching the sunrise surrounded by sea cliffs at the Blade, we headed out to the furthest points of Cape Pillar. There we sat down, took our time, had our morning coffee while taking in the splendid views of Tasman Island. From here, it was ocean as far as the eye could see, and it was wild to think that there was nothing else between us and Antarctica. After getting our fill of sunrises and beautiful vast ocean views, it was time to start making our way back to the Munro cabins. There were some incredible plunging cliff face lookouts to stop at and enjoy along the way. It didn't matter how many there were, each was just as breathtaking as the next. The Blade and Cape Pillar section of the Three Capes is done pack-free, so we needed to head back to Camp Munro to collect our bags before continuing on to Retakuna Cabins. The walk to Retakuna Cabins is full of the most amazing Australian flora and fauna. It's definitely a great part of the walk to just slow down and take your time. We started day 4 with an extra early rising and began our walk in the dark. We spent the morning making our way up Mount Fortescue before venturing out to the tip of Cape Hoy for first light. As the sun rose, we got to enjoy the great view of the famous totem pole and all the stunning dolerite columns that surround it. Soon after sunrise, we started making our way back to collect our packs, enjoying the winding paths and views that mark the final day of the Three Capes. The final leg is pretty much all downhill until you reach Fortescue Bay, marking the end of our 4-day hike. Some of our group braved the icy cold but refreshing water of the bay, while others just enjoyed the relief of removing shoes and tending to sore feet. The Three Capes is a great experience. It was full of amazing landscapes and spectacular views. It's definitely a trip that everyone should add to their bucket list. And it was definitely a trip that we won't forget anytime soon.